So ladies and gentlemen, today is the 6th of July 2025. It's a Sunday and we are at this beautiful mosque called the Jama Masjid Mosque in Sadar Bazaar, Gurgaon. It's the occasion of Muharram, so I decided to pay a visit out here and seek the blessings of this masjid. Now, what is the occasion of Muharram exactly? And I recently came to discover this, that Muharram is not just a particular day. According to the Islamic calendar, which is a lunar calendar, Muharram is the first month of the Islamic lunar calendar. And why is it celebrated? It is celebrated because it's the second most sacred month in the religion of Islam after the month of Ramadan. And it's one of those 4 sacred months where no wars and battles are allowed in Islam. And as a matter of fact, it is a 10th day of this first month of Muharram of the religious Islamic lunar calendar that the occasion or the day of Ashura is celebrated. In fact, it is commemorated for the martyrdom of Imam Hussain, who was the 3rd Imam according to the Shia Muslims. And it is a martyrdom and the sacrifice of Hussain ibn Ali, which is commemorated on this occasion of Ashura, that is the 10th day of the month of Muharram. Now, Hussain, of course, was the brother of Hassan, and he was the son of Ali, and he was the grandson of Prophet Muhammad, the founder of Islam, no less. And people, they sometimes self-flagellate themselves on this occasion to commemorate the sacrifices of Hussain. And, people who kind of mourn his death, mourn Hussein's death on the occasion of Muharram on the day of Ashura, believe that they are fighting against injustice. It's their expression of the fight of justice over injustice, of the fight of the good over the evil. People also believe that when they mourn the death of Imam Hussain, they would unite with him in afterlife. So that's the spirit of Muharram, really. And to understand deeply who was Hussain and what was his sacrifice for, it's important to understand a little bit of a history of Islam. So let's go through a little bit of a history of Islam now. So when in 632 AD, Prophet Muhammad, who was the founder of Islam, passed away, there was a little bit of a confusion and there was some kind of struggles for the succession to Prophet Muhammad. On one side were the Shia Muslims who believed that Ali was nominated by Prophet Muhammad himself as the successor. On the other hand, there were the Sunni Muslims who believed that the successor should be appointed by a council, elected by the community, therefore. Anyway, so what happened was that Ali became the Imam from the Shia side, and on the other side, Abu Bakr assumed the caliphate. Now, after Ali was assassinated, there was a powerful leader called Muawiyah who usurped the power and formed the powerful Umayyad Caliphate, and he became the first caliph of that Umayyad Caliphate. Hassan was a son of Ali, and he became the next Imam from the Shia side. And Hassan wanted peace in the community, and he didn't want to fight against Muawiyah. So he effectively ceded the caliphate to Muawiyah, but it was based on a treaty that was signed between Hassan, the son of Ali, and Muawiyah. And a couple of important conditions of that treaty were that Muawiyah in his caliphate would rule according to the law of Quran, and secondly, he would let the community appoint his successor so that it doesn't become a monarchy. However, Muawiyah was a very cunning leader of the Umayyad Caliphate. According to some historians, he even orchestrated the death of Hassan, who was the son of Ali, by getting him poisoned. Now, after Hassan died, Hassan's brother, Hussain ibn Ali, became the 3rd Shia Imam. Now, it was around 680 AD that Muawiyah broke the treaty which he signed with Hassan and nominated his son Yazid as the successor. Now, that was upsetting the entire Muslim community because Yazid was a known oppressor, a tyrant, and a narcissist. In fact, Yazid demanded allegiance from Hussain, for his favor. However, Hussain declined the allegiance on moral grounds to Yazid. And in fact, a lot of people encouraged Hussain to, use force against Yazid to overthrow him. A lot of people from Kufa, for example, which is a town in Iraq, supported Hussain. And therefore, Hussain took an army of around 72 people and marched towards Kufa. However, Hussain was intercepted in a region called Karbala, which is famous for its Battle of Karbala, and we'll presently find out all about it. So he was intercepted at a deserted place called Karbala, which is the modern-day southern Iraq. And, he was surrounded by a large army from Yazid, which according to some historians was 1,000 people. Some people say it's 4,000 army men over there, and some people even want to say that it was 30,000 men. Either way, Hussein's army was clearly outnumbered. He had just 72 army men with 30 horsemen and around 42 infantrymen. All his supplies of food and water were cut off for days at end in the month of Muharram. From the first day of Muharram, his food and water supplies were cut off. There were attempts at negotiations with Yazid's army, but those negotiations failed. And eventually, Yazid's army attacked Hussein's army, and it was a slaughter. Yazid's army was very cruel. According to some accounts, when Hussain, the third Imam, was sitting with his 6-month-old infant son, his son was in his lap. Yazid's army, the archers from Yazid's army threw arrows at him, and in fact, one of the arrows struck this 6-month-old infant son of Hussain, and he died. Based on accounts of some historians, Hussain even went to the Euphrates River to drink water, and he was struck by an arrow in his throat. Then the army men attacked him from Yazid's side. They struck a blow on his head. Hussain fought valiantly with a turban on his head. However, eventually he was overcome by the soldiers of the Yazid army, who then took him down from his horse. He fought valiantly, but Hussain died a hero's death, clearly succumbing to his wounds. It was very sad that he was eventually beheaded by the soldiers, and his body was trampled by the horses, and his head was taken in Syria, Damascus, to Yazid, where Yazid, it seems, poked a stick in Hussein's head. This sacrifice and the martyrdom of Hussain and the slaughter of his army, which was against Yazid, sent shockwaves in the entire Muslim community. And in fact, eventually it led to the downfall of the Umayyad Caliphate. But today, it is Muharram, and it reminds us of the sacrifices of Hussain against terror and oppression of Yazid. However, his sacrifice as a concept transcends borders, transcends religions. It teaches us that whenever there is an oppressor, whenever there is a tyrant, whenever there is an evil person, whenever there is a Yazid in the world, we will need to arise the Hussain amongst ourselves. And when we fight against the evil, when we fight against the injustice, when we fight against the oppressors of the world, we become the Hussains ourselves. And we'll have to perform and commit sacrifices to create a better world, which was the endeavor of the sacrifice and the martyrdom of Hussain ibn Ali, the grandson of Prophet Muhammad. A big salute to Hussain and his martyrdom and his sacrifices.
Hi, this is Abdul Wahab, the engineering delivery head at True Software System, Gurgaon. Talking about Muharram, it is practiced by Shia sect of Muslims, and it is the day of remembrance for the martyrdom of Imam Hussain and his companions at Battle of Karbala in 680 AD, fighting against injustice. Imam Hussain was the grandson of Prophet Muhammad and son of Hazrat Ali. Muharram is a period of mourning, a deep sorrow and reflections for Sunni Muslims. While they also observe Muharram, it is the first month of the Islamic calendar year and one of the 4 sacred months of Islam. Thank you.
And outside the Jama Masjid, Gurgaon, we have a row of shops out here. Hawkers were selling things which people come over here and buy. They range from dress materials to various souvenirs. Let's talk to a few of them. सर, इस जामा मस्जिद के बारे में हमें कुछ बताएंगे? कितनी पुरानी मस्जिद है ये?
ये तो काफ़ी साल पुरानी मस्जिद है।
और आज मुहर्रम का उपलक्ष्य है, तो मुहर्रम क्यों मनाया जाता है?
मुहर्रम भाई साहब बताएंगे।
अच्छा, आप बताइए सर।
ये भाई शहादत का दिन है।
किसकी शहादत?
हुसैन साहब।
तो बताइए उन्होंने क्यों शहादत दी अपनी?
भाई इतना तो डीप मैं भी आपको नहीं बता सकता।
We have another beautiful shop out here outside the Jama Masjid, Gurgaon, and we have a shopkeeper. Let's talk to him. सर, हमें बताइए जामा मस्जिद कितनी पुरानी जामा मस्जिद है गुड़गांव में?
सर बहुत पुरानी, 100 साल पुरानी जामा मस्जिद है।
100 साल से भी ज़्यादा पुरानी जामा मस्जिद?
100 साल से पुरानी।
और आज मुहर्रम का दिन है, तो हम हमारे दर्शकों को कृपया बताएंगे मुहर्रम की क्या इम्पोर्टेंस है?
मुहर्रम ये है जी, गमी का दिन है, गमी का महीना चल रहा है। ये हज़रत हुसैन रज़ी अल्लाह ताला अन्हु की शहादत का दिन है ये 10 मुहर्रम।
तो आपको मालूम है कि हज़रत हुसैन ने क्यों अपनी शहादत दी थी?
हज़रत हुसैन ने शहादत दी थी अपनी कि भाई वो ज़ालिमों का साथ नहीं था, वो ज़ालिमों के ख़िलाफ़ खड़े हुए थे। ज़ालिम अपनी बात मनवाने चाह रहे थे उनसे, उन्होंने नहीं मानी वो, क्योंकि दीन के ख़िलाफ़ था वो, इसलिए उन्होंने वो बात ना मानी हज़रत हुसैन।
तो गुड़गांव में क्या ताज़िए निकलते हैं?
नहीं, गुड़गांव में तो नहीं निकलते ताज़िए, बस ऐसे ही अपने दिल में गमी मनाते हैं।
And in Sadar Bazaar, Gurgaon, we have another patron with us. सर, आप अपनी तारीफ बताइए और बताइए कि मुहर्रम क्यों मनाया जाता है?
जी, मेरा नाम मोहम्मद अनवर हुसैन है और मुहर्रम यौम आशूरा का दिन है। इसमें हज़रत इमाम हुसैन रज़ी अल्लाह अन्हु को शहीद किया गया था, जो अहले बैत है और उनके ख़ानदान, जो हमारे नबी सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम के नवासे हैं। हुसैन रज़ी अल्लाह अन्हु और उनके जो औलाद में से हैं, उनके और बीवी बाल बच्चे हैं, उनको आज के दिन शहीद किया गया था।
तो उन्होंने अपनी शहादत क्यों दी थी? उनको कौन था जिनको उनसे परेशानी थी?
कुछ लोग थे जो शुरू से इस्लाम का दुश्मन रहे हैं, जिन्हें मुनाफिक कहा जाता है। उन्हें दिक्कत थी, परेशानी थी कि इस्लाम आगे क्यों बढ़ रहा है, तो इसके वजह से उन्होंने इमाम हुसैन को शहीद किया।
और आप यहाँ पर सदर बाज़ार में क्या ख़रीदने आए हैं?
मैं किताबें ख़रीदने आया था।
लेकिन अभी तो आपका पसंदीदा नमकीन कौन सा है?
जी, मेरा पसंदीदा नमकीन नमक पारे हैं।
और यहाँ पर और भी विशेषताएं क्या हैं, हमारे दर्शकों को बताइए। यहाँ पर क्या क्या बिक रहा है यहाँ पर?
यहाँ पे बहुत सारी चीज़ें हैं। आप इस्लामिक किताबें वगैरह, इतर वगैरह, सारा कुछ, नमाज का मुसल्ले वगैरह भी मिल जाएंगे, बुरके वगैरह भी हैं, और सदर बाज़ार में काफ़ी कुछ मिल जाते हैं। मुझे लगता है कि ज़्यादातर चीज़ें मिल जाते हैं यहाँ पे।
And near this masjid in Sadar Bazaar in Gurgaon, we have this patron. I suppose he's having some problems in his eyes, but is still worshipping out here.
मेरा नाम मजीबुर रहमान और इमाम हुसैन के जो शहीद करबला यजीद के उसमें दुश्मनी की, इनके आज लड़ाई के लिए आज 10 मुहर्रम असर के टाइम इमाम हुसैन रज़ियल्लाहु ताला अन्हु शहादत के लिए आज उनके प्रोग्राम है। आज 10 मुहर्रम 10 तारीख चांद की।
And we have this lovely shop out here which is selling these some kind of safes. सर, बताइए कि आपका नाम क्या है?
इलियास।
इलियास जी, आप बताइए अपनी दुकान पे क्या बेच रहे हैं?
ये सिवैयाँ है, फेनी है, दूध में बनती है।
अच्छा, और इसको किस तरह से खाया जाता है?
दूध में बना के।
और ये मीठी होती है या फीकी होती है?
फीकी होती है, फीकी।
और मीठी सेवइयाँ भी होती हैं?
नहीं, मीठी नहीं होती।
आप ये कब से बेच रहे हैं यहाँ पर?
बहुत साल हो गई।
अच्छा, और ये जामा मस्जिद में आप नमाज़ पढ़ने जाते हैं?
जाते हैं बिल्कुल।
अच्छा, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आपका।